Welcome to the Sarasota County Croquet Club in Venice, Florida, down south of Sarasota. Brian Hovis got these shots with his drone. He's your videographer. You can see it's a long string of courts parallel the highway going from south to north. Courts 1 through 4, and all the outbuildings come first, and then in the northern section there's an additional 3 lawns which are arranged in various configurations. This facility and the very vibrant club that supports it are the brainchild of Fred and Jackie Jones, and in their honor, this is the Jones Invitational U.S. Rules Croquet Tournament held in January of 2022. We're going back toward Court 1, where we find Macey White playing blue and black, coming in first. His handicap's -2.5. Setting up blue in front of hoop 2 is felt to be generally safe because you're expecting somebody to mess up at the first hoop. His opponent in this block play match is Connor Helms, playing red and yellow at a handicap of -1. The decision to leave blue out the way Macey did is sometimes a function of hoop 1. What's the likelihood that another ball is going to make hoop 1 long and take advantage of that blue ball? They are playing quadway hoops. I don't know how they're set, but Macey got away with it that time. And he more than got away with it. The tournament director for this event is Doug Ledgett, and the tournament manager is Nancy Hart. Depending on the speed of the lawn, what Macey's about to do seems pretty aggressive. Even if he missed it, though, or knocked red out, yellow would have to come in and get rid of blue for red to get a break off this position. Another option would have been for black to hit blue and then do a croquet out to red with blue either before or after making hoop 2. You could then hide black, making it harder for yellow to neutralize that ploy. The ghost of Vince Lombardi strikes again. Execution trumps tactics every time. He actually said strategy, but tactics is more appropriate to croquet. Wow. Now he has visions of a 4th turn trip to the peg. Connor's from Oklahoma City, where he and his wife Jane play at the Oklahoma City Country Club, where Suzanne Spradling and Cheryl Bromley are putting together a golf croquet regional for the Midwest in September or October. And the Midwest Regional U.S. rules will be Labor Day weekend in Tulsa, Oklahoma, not far from Oklahoma City. A lot of folks would put black to the right here to make it easier to get a good rush on blue, but Connor's putting it to the left so they'll have enough room to put black in good pivot position and still get a good rush on blue to hoop 3. And now the dividend for having put black to the left of hoop 2 instead of to the right. It's much easier to come pick it up.
Go, girl.
This club has hosted a number of AC National Championships, both of which are on video on this channel, and they're looking forward to the Golf Croquet Worlds Under 21 in 2024.
Good luck. Have fun.
They're sharing the lawn with Webster Bull, who just did that jump shot, and Gene Raymond, who's your Florida regional vice president. With black, the hoop 6 Pioneer is so far away, he'll be better off setting a one-back Pioneer and using the other ball in pivot position rather than trying to set an early two-back Pioneer, which is probably more important in AC than it is in American rules anyway.
Drop another one? Try.
Connor obviously thinks otherwise. And the purpose of that basically is to allow you to place your two-back Pioneer from a lot closer than you would have to if you waited till after hoop 6 to do it. Not a great one-back Pioneer, but since he already has a Pioneer at two-back, he may get away with it. This is a little nitpicky, but the shot he's about to hit goes awry because he used a roll shot instead of just a little stand-up stopper drive shot.
What? Macey.
But not a bad outcome. He went from 1 to hoop 6 in the fourth turn. He is, however, 3-ball dead now. Yellow's 3-ball dead. Blue is live on red, so Macey's going to put blue next to yellow to keep red from joining up with it. And he knows this might happen, but he certainly wasn't counting on it because he hit it on the wrong side. That mention of a wire is from the other game because you can only call a wire at the beginning of your turn. And now Macey has his 4-ball break. With red clean and right next to yellow, there's not much benefit to getting partner dead here. With blue basically in the jaws of hoop 5, I think this is very risky. And Connor breathes a sigh of relief, but no wire because red can see black.
Red is still dead on yellow.
Red's dead on yellow.
Red is dead on yellow.
He can get away with this here because red and yellow are so far apart. Yellow's going to pass. Blue harasses yellow. Macey's next move, I think, is very aggressive tactically. He's only down by a hoop. And the only reason to leave black out like this is as a Tice. He knows yellow's going to come to red, and then red's going to move black. And he's just hoping that red gets a bunch of deadness and doesn't get a break going. Would you look at that? The Tice worked. But because blue and black are both dead on red, he's not going to be able to take much advantage of it. And because blue and black are partner dead, unless he gets a shot on yellow, all he can really do is just go set up every time he gets a chance. dead in the sport hasn't changed, but red made 3 hoops and was able to move black out of hoop shooting position. I think he's putting black there just to keep yellow from setting up for its hoop. And if you put it over by 2, then it would have been a 1-back pioneer. So I think he's trying to get wired from blue here.
First block.
Macey called first block because blue is dead on red, which is in the jaws of blue's hoop 6, blocking blue's hoop shot. The relief would then be at the beginning of blue's next turn. If the same situation obtained, blue would become live on red. It's really academic here because the only way blue's going to be back in hoop shooting position in front of 6 is if Connor puts it there and happens to stuff this hoop, and none of that's going to happen. The blocking rule is one of the more complicated components of the American rules game, and you really have to read it carefully in the rule book. That's not great, but he is lucky that he didn't get yellow right in front of its hoop, because then black would have had a wiring loop. This shot is the equivalent of hitting a duffer Tice in AC. And that's why Duff Matthews used it to get the opponent to miss and end up on the balk line. With a little luck on his side, Connor was thus able to set up a 3-ball break before he had to make one back and give Macey a 1-back clearance.
Shot.
Macey now gets a 1-back clearance on either blue or black, but he doesn't have to decide which ball he wants to clean before the first shot of his next turn. That can be very useful tactically. I may get a call from Connor about this, but what he just did demonstrates something I see a lot in these videos, except for maybe the top 10 Americans. Even really good American rules players like Connor Helms don't have the kind of control of the back ball in a roll shot that a lot of international players do. It's something to work on. And of necessity, all the good American players are experts at this shot, which basically never occurs in AC. As he's preparing to leave, remember that yellow is live only on blue and yellow is for one back.
Solid balls, court 1, 15 minutes.
Timeout, please, John. Timeout. Timeout, 25 minutes. 25 minutes. Take it.
Wow. I take back what I said earlier. That was very precise control of both balls in a roll shot. If he makes Rover off of blue, he's going to end up last dead on partner. But he thought about it and decided to put blue down by one back so he can get clean off of it after he brings yellow back down there after he makes Rover off of yellow. Very nice. Being last dead on partner is not the end of the world, and sometimes it's unavoidable, but the Rover ball is much more effective if he's last dead on opponent instead. Ah.
Great, how you doing?
Almost perfect. Red went from one back to the peg. He didn't get the leave, which would have allowed yellow to finish the game. But he's clean, and they can join up, and he can play the Rover game now. Because black plays next, Macey takes the one back clearance for that ball so he can get something going here.
Stop the clock. Solids. Stop the clock, please. You stop the clock.
The game clock can only be stopped for ball retrieval or double banking interference in the last 15 minutes of the game. And we saw the 15-minute warning some time ago. Almost a miracle shot. Black has to be marked in where it went out, but yellow went out right behind red. So he can put it on either side. Since yellow's dead on both of those balls, it kind of doesn't matter which side. But he put it as close as possible without touching red to try to get Connor to commit a fault when he hits yellow now.
Timeout.
Technically, Macey should say timeout for interference so they know he's not taking a personal timeout.
4 minutes, 18 seconds left.
But they know what he's talking about. The clock is restarted either when the striker says time in or strikes the ball. He's looking to see where to put red so it's wired from black. This is a little risky because if black were to hit red, he's got a pioneer at his hoop. He could easily go to peg and tie the game. That half ball designation is just a reminder that black is the last ball that red, the rover ball, roquetted. Red won't become last dead on black until it makes a hoop, and if it roquets blue before that happens, then blue is the ball that will be last dead on after it makes a hoop. How the board keeper should manage rover ball deadness on the board is not spelled out in the rule book. It's just a matter of convention.
Timeout to set the clock in. Play that ball in. Fourth one, solid balls, 1 minute. Timeout.
1 minute left.
You'll see that the on-court board keeper elected not to use that half ball designation until the ball actually becomes last dead. Since the rule book doesn't spell it out, it really is a matter of personal preference. Great start. All he has to do now is 2 ball to the peg, pick up red on the way, probably peel blue through 1 back, and then peg out black to go up by 1. Don't laugh. Connor knows that Macey's more than capable of doing that.
Time. Macey.
It's match time.
Macey.
So now all blue has to do is start at 1 back and peg out, getting 5 peels on black on the way. Now black is sitting right next to his hoop. He could turn around and shoot at black and then do a death roll, peeling it through 3. And if red and yellow were out on the lawn, maybe it could be done. But with the state of this game, I'm pretty sure it's impossible.
Good. doing well.
Connor Helms over Macey White, 19-8. And since the handicap system now recognizes half handicap differences as full steps, Connor gets 8 tracking points for this win instead of the 7 he would have gotten previously.